Hey guys, just taking a look here at LLIT. It's kind of curling up here, back up to towards the high of day. And it's not a good time to get in right now because it's already extended. Although this could keep going, like these things sometimes go crazy in the pre-market, but jumping in now would be a FOMO trade. So what you're looking at this point is for a pullback. And once it pulls back, you could get in at the break of a 1 minute candle. Let's just look back and see how that worked out previously. So this is the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Although, down here it wouldn't be as strong, but this just gives you an idea. It kind of popped up here like about 5 cents and comes back down, but then here's the nicer move. It maintains higher lows, which is nice. Then does like a little consolidation here and then has a nice pop, 15 cents there on that 1 minute candle. Another little pullback. This is pretty nice pop there. So it looks pretty good. It looks pretty strong. It looks like a lot of people bought in after this. But again, I think that's FOMO trading because it's still part of this upward move. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be money made here, but it's just not a good. I don't think it's a safe way to trade. If you've got a lot of money and you're willing to take higher risks, that's one thing. But if you're just starting out and you're trading a smaller account, then I don't think that's a good trade to take. And look what happened. If those people didn't get out, they could be in trouble right now. This thing didn't. It popped up here, but then quickly got pushed back down by sellers. So the ideal pullback here would be halfway between 555 and 633, which would be just a little under $6. So about here. But I wouldn't get in after a big candle like that. 20 cents, that's too much of a stop loss. I'd rather see like a small red candle, which you may not get. And if you're willing to take those risks, then that's up to you. But I mean, so far the way the pullback is forming is nice. But what I would like to see before I get in on the break of a 1 minute candle is a small red candle, like 10 cents or less in range. And then get in at the break of that candle and have that 10-cent range as my stop loss. So this thing's like a 20-cent candle. All right, something else just popped up. I don't know anything about this stock other than it's now on the top gainer list. Okay, and this is why. It looks like it shot up and then it immediately sells off. There's no news. It's probably a pump. Yeah, this is not a good looking daily chart. I think it's enough to take off the list. right, so this is a reasonably sized candle. Just not sure. So it looks like it's having trouble breaking that 610 level. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. I was considering getting in there if it broke the 610, but I'm sure glad it didn't, because look what happened, man. That would have been tough to get out of quick enough to not take a huge loss. Talk about volatility. I mean, if I did take a trade there, if it broke that 611, I don't really think I could have been mad with myself, because that's one of my strategies, is after the stock runs up and then pulls back to break by the break of the 1 minute candle after the right kind of pullback, which that was. But I'm glad it didn't. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you have certain criteria, like it must break a certain price level. It doesn't always save you, but in that case it did. So it increases your chance of getting into winning trades, and increases your chances of staying out of losing trades, basically. So it looks like that pullback was just part of a much larger pullback. So, and at this point, you know, it's getting close to, it's getting fairly close to the market open, where I you know, the closer it gets to market open, the less I like to take a pre-market trade, because the volatility can get kind of crazier and crazier. So I might not be taking a trade here. So this whole range is about $1.10. So if it comes down like 55 cents from here, which would be what, 573 would be 50 cents, so like 568-ish, which is right where it is right now. It came down a little bit lower than that. Would be like a real pullback on that. So let's see. Maybe 571. All right. Let's see if this thing pops or not. I'm gonna take half out there already, just because yeah, I don't really like the way this thing looked. It might go, but after that huge flush and then it kind of hesitated there on the pop, I didn't really want any part of that. So yeah. You know what? And actually, that wasn't the best trade. I mean, the way I was looking at it was that it was a good 50% retracement pullback here, and then you know, finally made like a smaller candle. Although when I got in, I wasn't willing to let it go all the way down. So yeah. So maybe that wasn't a trade I should have taken, but and I mean, this thing is tricky, you know. But anyway, I think it was a winning trade, but just not maybe not worth it, because let's see, it picked up 3 cents there and 2 cents there. So 5 cents overall, minus 4 cents. So yeah, it's only a 1 cent gain. So yeah, definitely wasn't worth it. But at least it wasn't a loser. It was, you know, kind of, I was thinking it was really going to pop there. Since it faked out here, I thought, okay, this thing, you know, if it's going to pop anywhere, it's going to be here. and there was nothing there. So that's it for my pre-market trading. I'm doing a thing now where if I do a pre-market trade, I only do one, and what that does is that keeps me out of emotional trading. So I don't get bent out of shape that, oh man, that wasn't a good trade, or it didn't work out, or I lost money on it, or whatever. As long as I'm taking a trade for the right reasons, which that was, as far as I'm concerned, because it was a reasonable pullback, and I was looking for the break of the 1 minute candle, which I got into, but it looks like I got filled. Just let's see, where did my order thing go? Did I close it, or it's hiding? I think I closed it out. So I wanted to get in at 571. But the thing, it did kind of pop there for a second, so I got in like kind of 2 cents later. So it would have been a little bit, it would have been a little more than 1 cent, but not much. So yeah, so what I was saying was, I'm trying to do a thing where I only take one trade in the pre-market at maximum. I don't have to take a trade. And then I take one trade in the intraday. Once the market opens, I can take one trade. I don't have to, but I only take one trade. And then the same thing is true for the aftermarket. If I do take a trade, I only take one. And that keeps me from FOMO trading, which is a huge account killer. And I could tell you from experience, like here, and again, as soon as I say it, it's going to, prove me wrong. But here's an example of, like, let's say you got in the trade here and you got out and you were bummed, like, okay, I lost money on this trade. Maybe I'll try again over here. And it might work, it might not work, but the chances, I think the chances are that it's not going to work more often than not, because if you're FOMO trading, you're already trading for. I mean, just look at this thing again. It could prove me wrong, but what this is the backside, and that's why the trade that I got into didn't work out. But you can't really tell at that point that that's the backside. That could have been the reversal. But once you see a couple of these form, you can start to tell that what these actually are pullbacks on the backside of the stock. So that's the first one. It's confirmed when this candle forms. So that's why I didn't know that was a pullback and not just a reversal. But the fact that this thing tried to turn around and couldn't, that's a pullback on a downside. Plus it's underneath all the indicators. Then over here, it tries to go up again and then doesn't. So that's just another pullback on the way down. So anyway, yeah, so that's why I'm doing this kind of like one trade per session to keep me out of things like that where, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I was right and I just got in too early. I should try again. And like I said, sometimes that works out, but other times not. So at this point, the one trade per session is saving me money for sure, because if I would have got in here, I probably would have had another losing trade or a break-even trade or something like that would have just used money in my cash account for no reason. So I gave it a shot. I took one trade on the top gainer, the pre-market. The other one I was looking at was DSS, and there could have been like a fairly decent trade around here, but now this thing's selling off big time. Interesting that it formed this flat top here. But yeah, so the next time I can take a trade is after the market opens, and I'm not really sure if there's anything worth trading at this point. Let's see, something just popped up, SFTTW. But my trade plan does allow, it does allow me to take a trade at the market open. This thing's not tradable, probably an OTC stock. These other trades are from Friday. Just saying that so you know I'm not lying to you about the one trade per session. And although I started that this week. All right, so I'm just giving it a quick look real quick before I stop the video. And of course I would love to share a video where, you know, I have this awesome winning trade, but that's, you know, that's not the reality. I could just cherry pick my great trades and only share those, but this one looks interesting for the market open, since now it has broken the high of day, but not very strongly. Let's see. I think I'm gonna just end the video here because I'm starting to drag it on. So that was my trade for the pre-market. Hope you learned something from it.